Vice-Chancellor and President. In 1961, Margaret Atwood wrote, set by hand in metal type, and printed her first poetry pamphlet, Double Persephone, illustrating its cover with her own lino cuts. That slender collection was awarded the E.J. Pratt Medal in Poetry at the University of Toronto, the first in a multitude of prizes Atwood has received, including the Arthur C. Clarke Award, the Booker Prize, twice, the Franz Kafka Prize, the Governor-General's Award, the Nebula Award, the Penn Pinter Award, granted annually to a writer with a fierce intellectual determination to define the real truth of our lives and societies, the Government of France's Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, the Officer's Cross of the Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany, and the British Academy President's Medal. The themes of Double Persephone, women's perspectives, contact and cruelty, the relationships between people and the natural world, echo across the exceptional range of Atwood's urgent, life-changing writing. But surely even the prescient buyers who snapped up one of those 220 copies of Double Persephone for just 50 cents can't have foreseen that Atwood would follow it with more than 80 works, including novels, short fiction, poetry, graphic novels, television and radio scripts, essays and non-fiction on everything from the Canadian North to the shadow side of wealth, children's books, anthologies and a chamber opera, all that those works would be translated into more than 20 languages. In the early 1970s, Atwood taught at an institution with which we at the University of York are often confused, York University, Toronto. Atwood continued to teach in universities throughout the 1980s as her literary reputation grew. Now, her books routinely appear on school and university curricula. For our students, it's via the mischievous, moving, expectation-defeating, riot-inducing, crime-endorsing form of Hagseed. For me, it was The Handmaid's Tale, which I studied in my first year at university. Studied is the wrong word. I devoured it. It launched me on an exhilarating journey, snapping up books by women authors, coming back time and again to Atwood's seamless writing, her clarity, her commitment, her fully realised, complex, human women characters. The Handmaid's Tale shocked readers in its depiction of how quickly and casually women's rights could be stripped away. It remains shocking. We know how the novel resonates in our current climate, its potency so undimmed that Atwood and Penguin Random House clubbed together 3 years ago to produce an unburnable copy of one of the most frequently challenged and banned novels in US schools. There is one of Atwood's books that none of us has read. Scribbler Moon, completed in 2015, was the first book deposited in the Future Library, locked away until 2114. It's a symptom of Atwood's curiosity about our futures, of the questions posed by her work. How will we look back on this? Will we understand how it came to pass? For you, our graduates, the most important lesson is that Atwood does not let us off lightly. She does not allow us to pretend we couldn't see what was, what is, around us. Atwood's writings, Scribbler Moon included, will last as long as we are here to read them. But her work warns us we may not have long. The future is vulnerable, the planet in crisis. Her writing has roots in her childhood among the biologists, in her words, which is also to say among the Canadian trees, insects, creatures, its solitude and wild places. Atwood's writing about the environment in the Madame trilogy and in her essays felt prophetic on first publication. Now it feels terrifyingly present. But her work gives us the tools we need to recognise our personal, collective, political stupidities, acts of malice, bad choices, moments of cowardice. It lays our realities and their possible consequences before us. Most importantly, it prompts us to think and to fight. You may not know that Atwood is also an inventor. In 2004, she came up with the long pen, a name that would be equally at home in one of her fictions, a device that allows anyone to write remotely in ink via a robotic hand. Atwood's use of digital technologies to make contact, to bring something into being, isn't only an apt symbol for her joining us digitally today. It's a superb metaphor for her writing, for Atwood's ability to reach across barriers and borders, to call new possibilities into being, to make and remake our worlds, to be thrillingly present through her pen. So, Vice-Chancellor and President, for her unparalleled contributions to literature, her commitment to climate justice, her rigorous pursuit of fairness and of truth, I present to you Margaret Atwood for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Dr. Atwood, I'm absolutely delighted we can connect in this way across the Atlantic. I'm Charlie Jeffery, I'm the Vice-Chancellor of the University, and I don't know if you can see, I have a scroll here in my hand. Please nod if you can see me in any way. No. Never mind, never mind. The words will do the trick. Through the powers invested in me by the University of York, I have the greatest of pleasure in conferring upon you the award of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Because I can't see you. I can hear you, though. So thank you very much, and congratulations to all of the students. It is a great honor for me to be receiving this degree from you, and I only wish I could be there in person. I would very much like to see the parking lot where they dug up Richard III, who, fairly or unfairly, as regards the real Richard, is one of Shakespeare's greatest and most watchable villains. I go to every production of it that comes within my reach. It's such a bold, dramatic approach. Richard tells us right at the beginning how bad he is, and then we watch him living up to his word. I must confess that Richard is one of my models for the character of Aunt Lydia in the Testaments. When the book came out, we did a special edition to raise money for a worthy cause, a worthy bird cause. Inside each copy was an envelope containing some treasures from the world of Gilead. Among the items are a petty point pattern for a footstool, there it is, with a design featuring a fruit bowl, blessed be the fruit, and also Aunt Lydia's private reading list. Here it is. Along with Paradise Lost, Klaus Mann's Mephisto, and Mrs. Beaton's Book of Household Management, so helpful, is indeed Richard III, which raises an interesting question. Why does Aunt Lydia read books? Partly because she can. Reading, denied to other women in Gilead, is allowed for the aunts, so doing it must have felt rather smug and privileged. But is Lydia reading to find out how to be sneakier, or how to study vengeance, or to feel she's communing with others not of her place and time, or to escape from the pressures of the Machiavellian life she's leading? We aren't told. Her secret journal writing is risky business, granted, filled as it is with treacherous thoughts towards the regime. Her secret reading, on the other hand, now that's a mystery. She doesn't have to do it, but she does. Why do human beings tell stories? And why do they listen to stories? And why, in some places and in some ages, do they try to control the kinds of stories that others are allowed to tell and hear? As I've spent my by now moderately long life in the world of books, you'd think I would have some theories. I suppose you could say that book banning and censorship exist because stories and words are so very powerful. And yes, we have entered another age of that kind of thing, at least in the large and venerable republic to the south of Canada. During the Cold War, Soviet bloc writers communicated underground via unpublished manuscripts copied out and passed from hand to hand. Are we there yet? Not quite. But when people start buying burner phones to travel to the US, it's not a reassuring sign. Many of you have been studying literature. Many have probably wondered, at least once, why? Wouldn't it have been more useful to have mastered, say, dentistry? Maybe literature and poetry and all of that is a frill, a mere entertainment, a waste of time. No, on the contrary, words and stories are at the heart of the human experience. They're also dynamite. That's why totalitarian regimes put so much energy into tracking down thought crime and burning books. We live in very strange times indeed, but since you've read a lot of books, you know times have been stranger. At least we aren't having the Black Death or the Blitz or puddings with baby marshmallows in them. I cross my fingers for you and for democracy and for the planet and wish you luck. Live well and prosper, and may the force be with you. Thank you.